Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Belle again. So today, we're going to talk about the EU hitting red states and apparently having a sense of humor. So, we have a question, but there's some news to add as background. With all of the economic news right now, it's hard to keep up with the responses to Trump. The EU has a multi-phase response that has probably been approved by the time you watch this. The news about the list has been pointing out that the tariffs seem to target places that voted for Trump. But that take has led to questions like this. Quote, I keep seeing news saying the EU is going to hit red states with their tariff response. But when I look at it, it's really not that much of a difference between red and blue in dollar amounts. Are their tariffs really that targeted? Short answer, yes. Blue areas produce more GDP, so even though it's just a couple of percentage points more on red areas overall, it means more to those areas. Think of it like seeing Bill Gates accidentally drop a 20 and a minimum wage worker dropping a 20 on the street. I'm willing to bet the loss of that 20 means way more to the minimum wage worker. Beyond that, to me at first glance, I haven't sat down and studied every facet yet, but it looks like it's more targeted than just red areas. An example is soybeans. Soybean farmers are generally a Republican base, but those who export to the EU, well, they're Louisiana Republicans. More than 80% of U.S. soybean exports to the EU come from that state. So who takes the hit there politically? Louisiana representatives, one of whom just happens to be Trump ally and Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. If you go through the list of tariffs, you see a lot of overlap in this fashion. But that could be simply coincidence. If you want to determine if an international move is coincidence or planning, ask yourself if the reverse is true. Does it go the other way? What about Republican states who have prominent people in Congress speaking out against the tariffs? We need to look to Kentucky because Senator Rand Paul and Mitch McConnell have both forcefully expressed their dismay about Trump's tariffs. Fun trivia. Just like champagne needs to be made in a certain region to be called champagne, to aficionados, bourbon needs to be made in Kentucky. Guess what was originally on the list of things to have tariffs applied to it? That was dropped. Now, the Europeans would never do something to influence U.S. elections. So I think the stated reason for dropping it was opposition from Ireland. And maybe that's really what happened. But it's interesting, right? To continue testing it out, let's look at something that's produced in a blue state. Almonds. That's basically all from California. And the majority of that comes from 5 counties: Kern, Fresno, Stanislaus, Merced, and Madeira. Every single one of those counties voted for Trump. Again, I haven't gone through every item, but we checked the theory 3 different ways, and it all comes up with the EU hitting tariff-supporting areas. Once is accident, twice is coincidence, 3 times is planned. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.